All right, so here is, I'm going to do a copy of this. If you want to, you can take notes. You don't have to. But, so tell me how you feel about this one versus the one that we did before.
Much better.
Much better.
Your idea definitely helped. Before we talked about how I was a little bit nervous about having them do a partner activity like that. And I was so used to doing the 5 groups, but after I relinquished some control and let them do it, like they did better than I thought they would, and they really got something out of it. And we actually did another one on this past Thursday or Friday, and on a completely different subject, making fractions, and it was really good. Like they really enjoyed it, and I paired them up. I don't think they're to the point that they can pair themselves up, but yeah, I paired them up again with different people, and it was much better than the 5 centers. So I plan on doing that a lot more.
That's exciting. So did you get to pull groups when you did it on Thursday?
Yes.
I mean, like pull a group back to your table.
Yeah, and I did the same thing where I had just a worksheet, and I didn't like make them do the worksheet. I did it with them. But I was like, here, let me see what you know. If they had any questions, we talked about it. I said, how are you feeling about this? Fractions. That's what we're doing. Like, how are you feeling about fractions? Tell me what the numerator is. Tell me what the denominator is. And if they had any questions, we were able to talk about it better in the small group than like me doing the whole group and them raising their hands, because a lot of them will ask silly questions because they're boys.
Yeah.
So being in that back little group really helped.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm glad that you're feeling a lot better about it, and I'm glad that I could rework this so that you didn't feel like I was just like on you, because I mean I get it. It's a struggle, especially when you want something to work so well. But I'm glad that it's helping doing it this way. So I wanted to talk to you about this part right here on minute 5 where it says solve the problem with the dice rotation. So this was the kids. You had a group of 3 kiddos and 2 girls and a boy, I believe, and they were really worried about who was going to go first, right? So you did a great job redirecting them and then helping them solve that problem. Down here where right here where I said written expectations, right here would be a good place for you to, like, if you write down their expectations before you actually explain it to them, then you might see, oh wait, how are they going to know who goes first? But I thought you did it a great way. You said, what's your number? Or you're going to be number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. You can use birthdays or...
Yeah, in their switch class, Miss Riley gives them all numbers based on the order they're in alphabetically.
Right.
I don't do that in my class, but it helps because, okay, if that's what I told them, who's first in Miss Riley's class, or, alphabetical order or numerical order.
Right.
So...
Yeah, I do numbers in my classroom too, and I like that a lot better because, like, if a kid comes in the middle of the year, I just add them to the end of the line, and then it's like, okay, 21, you're going to be whatever. So, but you did a great job on that, and I thought that was great improvising or whatever. And then positively redirecting one group, you had some boys that I think you predicted were going to have a little bit of trouble, and you did a great job of saying, this is what we're doing. Let's do that. And then I think at minute 15 where you redirected, I think it was the same group, and you just rearranged it, and you told the group, you moved a boy and you put him in with some girls that were probably more able to kind of motivate him to work. So I thought you did a really great job, and
yeah, and I know who you're talking about right there. And when we did this again, like a different activity, same idea, I actually put him back with those 2 girls, and it was still like just as good. So I've actually started, because of this activity, I was able to see who he worked good with, and I've been putting him with those girls more and more. It's actually helped him a lot.
That's awesome. That is so good. I'm glad to hear positive things, because I know when we first talked, I feel like you wanted this to work, and you were just kind of like, it's working, but it's not working as well as you wanted it to. And I
Right.
feel like this is kind of helping you
Right.
do that. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, I wanted to talk to you about how to get your attention. So, like, when I do stations, I have a time period when I'm during the station rotation where I'm pulling groups and they're not allowed to talk to me. They have to problem solve or whatever it is. They know that that is the time that they don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is also a time within that station rotation that I am up walking around,
Mm-hmm.
but there needs to be a way that they can get your attention, like if an emergency is happening.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, somebody's got a pencil through their hand, which happened to me last week. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I would freak out. Okay.
he poked the pencil like right here, and he was like, I just poked a pencil through my hand. So in that instance, you need to be able to, you need them to know what are your expectations during stations. Now, I know you have great expectations during stations. Just walking into your classroom, I know that they got it. You know, they know that this is what you expect. But in a situation like this, you pause what you were doing up here with this small group
Mm-hmm.
to take care of these issues, where it should have been a situation where you can work with these 3 to 5 kids
Mm-hmm.
and not have to worry about what's going on over there. And that's the releasing control kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
that we talked about. And as you can see from just doing it, it really does help them. They can do it. Okay, so I would, for future reference, I would say kind of come up with a thing that they can do to get your attention if they really need it, like raise their hand, or I don't know, show you 2 fingers or something like that, so you know that you can monitor visually and just be able to kind of make a wall where you can ignore what's going on outside of the class. Not really ignore it, but
Right,
you know,
yeah.
that way you can focus on those kids, because your goal is to make a small group, you
Right.
know? So think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then written expectations. We talked about this before, writing down what they're actually expected to do, because you still have little babies, and sometimes that, and you have several who are ESL, that one group that just speaks strictly Spanish, which I thought was totally awesome. But sometimes they need to be able to go, oh, what am I supposed to do? I'm not sure what to do on this step right here. So most research will say if you do have written expectations, you're not going to have as many discipline issues when you're doing stations. So think about that.
Yeah, like you have that. I mean to do that. I just forget about it. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to put up.
Yeah. Well, and it, you know, and once you start writing out your expectations, you think about things that you might not have thought of if you're just stating it, you know. And once they get it down, like, my kids know these. I could probably take that down now and they would be fine with it. But like when I introduce a new station, I want them to know what's the next step, so they don't have to say, Miss Taylor, I need your help on this. Well, you already know the next step. It's written right here. I'm working with these kids. You know, that's just one less distraction that you'll have if you pull them back.
Right.
Another thing that I want to talk about, and with the station that I gave you, we had them do, each person had a piece of paper and they wrote down the problem and then they showed it. This observable student work from the station, you need to be able to have something that you can see that they're actually working. And also it helps you because if you're
Whoever was in charge of detention today, please call the front office.
if you're sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so you're working on observable student work. So if you're working on a specific skill like fractions, you're saying, you want to be able to take whatever they did in the station and say either they're getting it or they're not getting it, right? And you also want this to be independent too, so you can, because they're not gonna. You were saying that you were pulling them back, asking them if they had questions on it and stuff, and that's perfect. But you want to make sure that the things that they're doing in their station are observable, because it keeps them accountable. It also keeps you accountable for.
So like have something like physical, like have like look at this. I know with the dice game that when you came and observed, they didn't have anything, But this next time I did think about that, and I was like, yeah, I need to make sure that I can go back and say, were you really doing this? Were you just playing around? And so this time with the fractions, I did have them each have a sheet of notebook paper, and they had to roll a dice and make a fraction. And they played fraction bingo.
Oh yeah.
So every time they made a fraction, they had to write it down. So not only were they coloring in on the bingo page, like when they got it, but they had to, on another sheet of paper, okay, if you made 5 in a row, where are those 5 that you made on the sheet of paper?
That's awesome.
So I did do that the next time. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Are you finding these stations easier or more difficult than the stations that you're
Much
doing before?
easier because I'm only having to find one. So like last time I was having to find at least 4
Yeah.
different ones, and I was kind of rushing through them, and we didn't really have enough time. But with this, it's just like the kids can do it. We can stop, do something else. We can go back to it, and it's very simple. You know, I don't make it super hard. I did make the other ones hard, but they shouldn't have a lot of time. And this one, they know they've got, 15, 20 minutes to work on it. So
Good.
it's a lot easier.
So good. That's taken a little bit of the stress off of you, which I know is another
Yes.
thing that we talked about too. That I'm gonna take a little bit of stress off of it, so it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing is how do we get students' attention and then have them return to work? So maybe your class is getting a little bit noisy and you want their attention. You do class, which I really like that a whole lot. But if you need an individual student's attention rather than like calling their name, have a different kind of thing to maybe get their attention, and then just redirect. And you're great at redirecting. You do it so kindly. You have a very positive teacher. I mean, you're really good at it. You're very positive and very encouraging, but they also know that you mean business when you say, look, it's time for us to get back to work. So those are all the things that I think you could possibly work on if you wanted to. And then positive things that I looked at were your introduction to it was really awesome. You were very excited, and it helped the kids to be like, oh, this is a new thing. Miss Pace is really excited about it. And, I think that they were excited about it too. Like I said, you have a way about you that you're very stern, but loving and encouraging when you're grouping the students too. And then when you rearranged that one instance that I'm thinking about, you rearranged the kid from one space to another space. It was not in, oh, you're getting on my nerves, blah, blah, blah. But it was more like, this is, yeah, I know how that goes. Yeah. But it was more of this is what's going to be better for you. This is what's going to be best for you. This is how you're going to learn more. And even when the girls were like, I don't want to be in my group, you were like, but this is going to be best for you guys. And so I just really thought that was awesome. You did a great job.
That kid gets bullied a lot, and so I try to, when kids act like that in the classroom, I try to, help them realize this is best for him, it's best for y'all, and it's because the girls are like, and so
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes. So.
Oh yeah, I know that that bullying thing.
Yeah.
And then let's see, your mini lesson was really great. I liked how the kids, you had 3 kids in the back, and 2 of them were getting it, and you just sent them right back, and then you kept the one little girl back there for a little bit, just to kind of make sure that she had it. And I thought that was great. You kind of saw where they were, what they needed to be working on, and yeah, you did an amazing job. And I thought it really was an improvement, and not that your first one was bad at all, but it was an improvement. I think it helped you to be able to be more effective.
I felt more comfortable with this than what I normally did, so
Good.
It was pretty nice.
Do you have any questions for me?
Do you think after I do just the one partner activity, like the one station, do you think it would be worthwhile to maybe, as they get used to doing that partner activity, eventually move on to where maybe I could add in like another one at the same time?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can go back to your 4-station model if that's something that you want to do. But I think part of the issue with the 4-station model that you were doing was you were changing it up almost every day, and they weren't having a chance to be able to master it and practice it. And if they already know how to do it, like the partner activity you're doing right now, once they've done it for like, I don't know, a day or two, add in something else and have it two rotations instead of just one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but have a similar activity
Right.
for them to do. But
Okay.
absolutely, you can add in as many groups as you want. You could do,
Like we don't necessarily need to go back to 4, but maybe like, because like the bingo games, some of them were finishing. My higher ones were finishing all of the bingo cards before some other ones.
Mhm.
So then they just went back to their seats and I had some individual work, or they would read or whatever that I had them do.
right.
And I was thinking, well, maybe if I had another station, like if they finish that, then they can go on to this. And I was thinking, are they ready for it, or should I just keep doing the one?
Well, and that'll have to be up to you. You have to gauge the temperature in your classroom.
Mhm.
Like, are they ready for it? If they're ready for it, then you move on to doing that. And
Okay.
you're good. I mean, you're doing a great job. So don't sell yourself short. You know what your classroom needs. So if they need another station, yeah. And I like when I first observed you that you were using a smartboard activity or an iPad, and you have those iPads. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, use them. Yes,
Yeah.
please. So adding that in eventually would probably be very good.
Because I was thinking maybe my higher kids who finished, because I've only got like 3. I have only a few really high kids.
Mhm.
I was thinking once they finished, then together they could have one iPad and go somewhere. Like that's kind of what I was thinking to do for my next station.
Mhm.
Like once these 2 boys who are really high would finish, they could grab the iPad together, go back to wherever they're sitting on the floor,
Mhm.
and then work on a game.
Mhm.
Together. That was still fractions, but
Right.
so
Yeah.
okay.
You have the right idea, absolutely.
Okay.
And if you need me to come and look and watch and do again, I can. I know that's not like technically my title or anything, but I can help you out as much as you need me to help you out.
Okay.
So don't hesitate to ask, because I'm willing to help. If you want it. If you don't, then I understand that too.
No, I won't.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Good deal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.